in my dreams. It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time. Yes, the most wonderful time. Oh, the most wonderful time of the year.
It happened one day at December's end. Some neighbors called on an old-time friend, and they found his shop so meager and mean, made gay with 1,000 boughs of green. And old Conrad was sitting with face ashine when he suddenly stopped as he stitched the twine, and he said, "My friends, at dawn today, when the cock was crowing the night away, the Lord appeared in a dream to me, and he said, 'I'm coming your guest to be.' So I've been busy with feet astir, strewing my shop with branches of fir. The table is spread and the kettle is shined, and over the rafters the holly is twined. And now I'll wait for my Lord to appear, and listen closely so I will hear his steps as he nears my humble place. And I open the door, and I'll look on his face." Then his friends went home and left Conrad alone, for this was the happiest day he had known. For long since his family had passed away, and Conrad had spent many a sad Christmas day. But he knew with the Lord as his Christmas guest, this Christmas would be the dearest and best. So he listened with only joy in his heart, and with every sound he would rise with a start, and look for the Lord to be at his door, like the vision that he had had a few hours before. So he ran to the window after hearing a sound, but all he could see on the snow-covered ground was a shabby beggar whose shoes were torn, and all his clothes were ragged and worn. But old Conrad was touched, and he went to the door, and he said, "Your feet must be cold and sore. I have some shoes in my shop for you, and I have a coat to keep you warmer too." So with grateful heart the man went away, but Conrad noticed the time of day, and he wondered what made the dear Lord so late and how much longer he'd have to wait. Then he heard another knock and he ran to the door, but it was only a stranger once more. A bent old lady with a shawl of black and a bundle of kindling piled on her back. But she asked only for a place to rest, a place that was reserved for Conrad's great guest. But her voice seemed to plead, "Don't send me away. Let me rest for a while. It's Christmas Day." So Conrad brewed her a steaming cup and told her to sit at the table and sup. And after she had left, he was filled with dismay, for he saw that the hours were slipping away, and the Lord had not come as he said he would, and Conrad felt sure he had misunderstood. When out of the stillness he heard a cry, "Please help me and tell me, where am I?" So again he opened his friendly door and stood disappointed as twice before. It was only a child who had wandered away and was lost from her family on Christmas Day. Again Conrad's heart was heavy and sad, but he knew he could make this little girl glad. So he called her in and he wiped her tears and he quieted all her childish fears. Then he led her back to her home once more. Then as he entered his own darkened door, he knew that the Lord was not coming today, for the hours of Christmas had all passed away. So he went to his room and he knelt down to pray and he said, "Lord, why did you delay? What kept you from coming to call on me? I wanted so much your face to see." Then softly in the silence a voice he heard, "Lift up your head, I have kept my word." 3 times my shadow crossed your floor. 3 times I came to your lowly door. I was the beggar with bruised cold feet. I was the woman you gave something to eat. I was the child on the homeless street. 3 times I knocked, 3 times I came in, and each time I found the warmth of a friend. All the gifts, love is the best. I was honored to be your Christmas guest.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the old time gay. From now on, trouble will be miles away. Here we are in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all must be together. If the fates allow, hang a shining star above the highest. Have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all must be together. If the fates hang a shining star above the highest. And yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Greeting cards have all been sent. The Christmas rush is through. But I still have one wish to make. A special one for you. Merry Christmas, darling. We're apart, that's true. But I can dream, and in my dreams I'm Christmasing with you. Holidays are joyful. There's always something new. But every day is a holiday when I'm near to you. The lights on my tree, I wish you could see. I wish it every day. The logs on the fire fill me with desire to see you and to say that I wish you Merry Christmas. Happy New Year too. Just wish Christmas Eve. I wish I were with you. Logs on the fire fill me with desire to see you and to say that I wish you Merry Christmas. Happy New Year too. Just wish on this Christmas Eve. I wish I were with you. I wish I were with you. Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. Christmas.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents by the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas if only my dream. I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan.
It's Kaiso, Kaiso, Kaiso! Yes, the Calypso season is upon us. Saturday, December 13, 2025 at the Factory, Valley Road. Only $20. 8 o'clock, seating only $30. Come here, the beginning of the season. And make sure you're there till the end. Many Calypsonians will be competing. Only 12 gladiators will make it. The grand eliminations for the 2026 Calypso season. Saturday, 13 December 2025. Remember, 8 o'clock at the Factory. Come here, the funny songs, the serious songs, political songs, everything. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your dog, and come. Kaiso, Kaiso, Kaiso.
All right.
Dominica, good afternoon to you. 1:15. You can get your coffee ready. You can get your juice ready. You can get your water ready. I promise you it's going to be another explosive talk on the block. If it's on the block, we'll talk about it. I think many people may have missed it this morning. We're keeping our eyes on the elections there in St. Vincent. I caught up this morning with veteran journalist Kenton Chance, who gave us a feel of what to expect this Thursday in St. Vincent. And then the explosive Mr. Andy Jolly and Co. will be here. We have the legal professional bill in our hands. Remember the lawyers were here last week? Is there something to be afraid of? We'll find out, but let's check out what's happening in St. Vincent, and we'll go to the big story this afternoon there as we review some aspects of the legal professional bill. Is there a reason to drag on? Let's listen to Kenton Chance from St. Vincent when we spoke this morning. Just getting a feel of what's happening in St. Vincent. We have to watch our neighbors very closely. Kenton, good afternoon to you. Feel of what's going on the ground 2 days away from the election.
Well, as you know, and as you said, the elections are on Thursday, the 27th of November. We have the Unity Labour Party that is seeking an unprecedented 6th consecutive 5-year term in office, and the NDP is hoping to break the same similar streak in opposition. So it's a battle for the futures of the party, it seems.
A battle. But what are the main issues being on the ground being debated among the parties?
Well, the opposition has been pushing hard on, cost of living, the cost of living situation, and it has proposed quite a few measures that it says it hopes would address the cost of living situation here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It has also put forward, well, in keeping with that attempt to address what it says the cost of living crisis in the country, certain proposals like reducing VAT from 16 to 13% and increasing public assistance, which is a social welfare payout, from it was about $275 to $500 a month, and policies along that line. To be honest with you, I've been covering this election and I've been trying to find a trite way of defining what the ULP's proposal for the next 5 years is. I think the most defining statement is where it says they want to take St. Vincent and the Grenadines to first world status within the next 15 years. It says first world status of a special kind. How exactly that is defined, I'm not too sure. But, the ULP in its 25 years in office has pushed a lot of large projects. We had the airport, they built an international airport. We just completed and commissioned a $700 million EC port in Kingstown, seaport in Kingstown. We are building a $68 million US dollar hospital in Arnisville, that's just east outside of Kingstown. So it has focused largely on large projects. It has also focused on education. I think that's one of the more impactful policies where a lot more people have been able to access tertiary education under the Unity Labour Party. But in terms of its bid for a sixth consecutive term, it's difficult for me as a journalist to say this is what they are campaigning on. Some observers say that the ruling party's campaign comes across as very angry. I've seen a bit of what appears to be anger from its platform speakers. But that's essentially the situation. It's left to be seen. The other thing is leadership, of course, because we have Prime Minister Gonzalez, who's hoping for a sixth consecutive term in office at 79 years old. And people are asking why hasn't the ULP transitioned to a younger leader before seeking a sixth term in office. Obviously, if they win, I don't see Prime Minister Gonzalez going beyond an additional 2 years in office. I mean, in terms of his faculty seems to be in check. He's just as sharp it appears as he was 5 years ago. But in terms of his physical appearance, I mean, Prime Minister Gonzalez looks like a shadow of himself. And, these are things, some of these things come with age. And he has lost some weight, he says, intentionally. But when you look at Prime Minister Gonzalez, he looks his age and beyond. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with age. I'm not an ageist or anything like that. I'm speaking from my observation. When you look at it, you're asking yourself, should somebody at that age and in what that physical condition really be putting themselves up for a sixth term in office? And of course, the underlying question is...
But again, what's in this for Mr. Gonzalez to be holding on for a sixth term? What is in it? What's the discussion on the ground about that?
Well, people are speculating, why is it that he feels the need to... one of the things that I think that the party hasn't been able to get people to coalesce around a singular leader to replace Prime Minister Gonzalez. The two front runners are the Prime Minister's son, Camilo Gonzalez, who's seeking a third term as the MP for East St. George, and the other is Sabota Caesar, the Minister of Agriculture, who's seeking a fourth term in his constituency. But interestingly, when they retained their seat in 2020, it was by a significantly reduced margin of victory. Like the first time, Camilo won by over 600 votes, and then he retained the seat by less than 200. And then Sabota, I think, dropped from 5-something to about 200 and something. So they have, but when you look at the opposition, at least in the case of Sabota Caesar's constituency, the gains by the opposition were not that great. I think when I looked at the figures last week, it was 37. The opposition had gained 37 additional votes over the last election cycle, which suggests that people are displeased with these candidates, these incumbent MPs. So I don't know. My view is, and people have expressed this view, that the Prime Minister missed the boat in terms of transitioning to, excuse me, a new leader, and he absolutely must win this election in order to be able to transition into a new leader. But this is the 5th election I'm covering in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. One of them I covered remotely from overseas. But the opposition that we're seeing now is a different opposition from what we've seen in 2001. And I mean, I think if ever there's a time that they are likely to win, it is now. And I say that based on my observation, because we don't have a lot of polling data. My understanding is that the government, the ruling party, ULP, the Labour Party, has done some polling, but apparently the polling is not favorable to the party. So therefore, those numbers have not been released. But it's just still, so we have 2 more days of campaigning, and then we will know the real poll and what that poll has to say. Just for the benefit of your listeners, the composition of the parliament now is 9-6. We have a 15-member parliament, it's 9-6. The Labour Party governed from 2010 to 2020 with a single seat majority. Now, from 2015 to 2010, 15, 20 years. From 2010 with a single seat majority. The last election, they picked up an additional seat by a single vote, which that seat was declared for the ruling party's candidate after a very contentious recount. And this is somebody who had lost the first time they attempted to win the seat, lost by 12 votes. And then 5 years later, he won by a single vote after a contentious recount. And he's seeking a 3rd term. So it will be very interesting to see how the race in that go. That is in North Leeward. Kishore Shala, who is the president of Cricket West Indies, is the contender for the opposition in that constituency. So the 2 constituencies to the very north of the country, of St. Vincent, I mean, on both sides, those are the battleground, 2 of the battleground areas. So it will be very interesting to see, how the race plays out.
A lot of debate there, a little discussion as it relates to persons from the outside coming in to influence the elections in St. Vincent, including some Dominican, of course, incumbent officials. They're making the stage, and we're hearing there from Trinidad, or from your Prime Minister, that Trinidad seemed to be interfering there in the elections. What's your take on persons from the diaspora, from CARICOM, giving support to Raul Gonzalez? You there?
To be honest with you, I'm not too sure how I feel about it. It's something that has been going on for a while. I mean, political parties, they support each other. We are one CARICOM space and one OECS space in our case, even title knit. It could create an uncomfortable situation if the opposition party were to win and then come in and have to deal with these people who came and campaign against it. I think what is important is that it appears to be at the party level rather than at the state level, at the government level. I must tell you, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Prime Minister Gonzalez has been, there's apparently some boogeyman somewhere who's always attempted to do something. He's attempted to smear some journalists as being agents of China, as if China is some, devious entity that is, he's spoken ill of citizenship by investment, which Dominicans would know is doing a lot of good for you guys there and in all of the other independent countries except us. The opposition supports citizenship by investment. In 2016, it announced a policy in support of China, but it seems to have been backtracking from that policy. And my information suggests that even if the opposition were to win, it would not switch ties to China. But the Prime Minister has been speaking, and in a sense, defaming journalists by saying members of the media are agents of China or what have you. And I must say, full disclosure, I think a lot of those are directed at me, although I was trained in Taiwan.
I know that, yes.
and I always say, I have never had any contact whatsoever with anybody from the Chinese state or any of China's political parties or anything like that. So, it's sort of an attempt to discredit people, to suggest that, journalists are writing these things that they look as unfavorable but true about them, because they are on the Chinese rule, and the Chinese want to come to St. Vincent to set up CBI, which the Prime Minister derides as selling passports. But I often say there's Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, our closest neighbors in the Windward Islands. All of them have CBI. And in the case of Dominica and Grenada, they also have relations with China. So if it's Chinese and they want passport, why come to St. Vincent when you can go somewhere else and get it with the same benefits? So that's sort of an aside. But, you know, the ruling party's campaign, it has been based on a lot of fear mongering. Yesterday they had a youth rally, and they're saying that some supermarkets that are aligned to NDP this week, from today they're going to jack up their prices. And if you look at the prices, you would know. And these things, to me, they just make absolutely no sense. So, I mean, but I guess that's probably current politics for you, or OECS politics, or maybe just intention politics. But in terms of the Trinidadians, the issue between Trinidad and St. Vincent, that's as I understand it, is not really about our elections and our politics. A minister of government in Trinidad and Tobago raised some issues by some properties that the Prime Minister has confirmed, well, at least his wife has confirmed, that members of the Prime Minister's family acquired in Trinidad. His wife is Trinidadian by birth of Dominican descent. And a minister in the Ministry of Housing in Trinidad and Tobago has raised questions about how these properties were acquired. I mean, is the timing suspicious? Maybe. Is it an unfortunate timing for the Gonzalez's? Yes. Are Vincentians interested in it? Absolutely interested in it, because when we're hearing that the Prime Minister's wife opened an account in the Bahamas, and in less than a year, there's 400 and something thousand US dollars in that account. People start to think, this is not a suggestion that there's anything untoward, but then it gives an insight into the halls of power, wealth, and influence, and how people live in. And even outside of politics, that's why the royal family is so popular, because people just want to know how the rich and powerful are living. So these disclosures, and especially when another country, a neighboring country, is asking questions about the Prime Minister's family, people are obviously going to say, no, that is not a suggestion that there's anything untoward, illegal, or otherwise in their acquisition of these assets. That is just that something that people are interested in.
But I'm seeing somebody just sent me a picture of a sample of Vincentian citizenry, the chosen ones lined up outside the perimeter fence of the administrative building on Upper Bay, St. Vincent. They were awaiting their turn to visit the Prime Minister's office to collect the appliance of food voucher. Sadness and desperation, would you say?
Well, the thing is, if we're referring to the same photo, I think there was some. Well, the office of the Prime Minister suggested after that it was a rumor that they were distributing some vouchers or the other at the office of the Prime Minister. And apparently the building was inundated and they closed the gate to keep people out, because apparently these distributions were not taking place. But in fact, the government did distribute vouchers for appliances to people who are affected by Hurricane Beryl. Maybe your analysis is correct. It could be desperation, or it could just be anybody who's in a position to get something substantive for free would take it. I think the average person would take it. It is, I mean, like I said, it's the same. Is it a picture on which you'd see something like come and go open on a door, and then the shot.
It's almost a wide shot of the building, the administrative building there. Some people lined up.
Oh, well, regardless of what it is, these are things that have happened. We've had reports of the administrative building shaking. This is built on retained land, and some people said it's because of the number of people who had gone there to seek appliances or what have you. Is it genuine need? I don't know. Is it greed? I don't know. Is it people just taking advantage of an opportunity to get something free? Maybe. I don't know that either, but it's a reality.
But just to wind up, I get the feel there that this is the most desperate election there as it relates to the Gonzales. I'm trying to get to the finish line. What's your honest, brutal view as to who will get to the finish line first on Thursday?
Well, Matt, as an experienced journalist yourself, you know that is a question that I will not answer.
Well, you have to try.
Well, I will not try either. You could sugarcoat it as much as you want. Excuse me. I mean, I have a view based on my own observation, but I don't think it would be appropriate for me as a journalist to make a prediction outside of statistics or anything like that about who is likely to win the elections. What I would say though, I think that the outcome of the election will be largely determined by election day mobilization. I think unless there is some major landslide in the offing that one cannot know about, I think mobilization will play a large role in the outcome of the election. And maybe you can comment Friday morning to see how correct I was.
I'll try to find out. But again, would you say it's the closest election ever that you have seen over the 5 elections you have covered?
What I would say is the election in which the campaigns, well, I don't even know if the campaigns are reflective of each other, but maybe I'll put it this way. It is the only campaign that I have covered in which the opposition seems to be outdoing the ruling party.
Kenton Chance, we'll talk to you maybe Friday morning. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, and always remember that in addition to journalism, my other training is in politics, international affairs. So
yeah, and you continue to remain a diplomat. Yes, thank you.
I take him at all.
Thank you, Kenton Chance. He was, of course, a correspondent for the Caribbean News Agency. We trained together many years ago, and of course, he was also a correspondent for the BBC many years ago. A veteran for sure. Thank you, Kenton. Thank you. Kenton Chance out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As you heard, it's a close fight to the finish line there in St. Vincent. All right, Dominica, we're here. This is the Talk on the Block. If it's on the blockway, we'll talk about it. Since last week, we've been talking about this legal professional bill. We've had the Dominica Bar Association in the house. We've had Joshua Francis in the house. We've had Andy Jolly. I say he's the person causing all the troubles and the controversy. Some people have referred to him as the big bad wolf causing trouble. But I can tell you, since that discussion started a couple weeks ago, some lawyers have been running to hide. They actually do not like the fact that we're discussing this on radio. Looking for a loophole, to take some legal action. Andy, I've been told by a source in the police force that I should try to calm you down. I guess you're a big man and you can defend yourself. And of course, we have two other guests this afternoon, I'm sure. They'll introduce themselves. Let's start off with Andy Jolly. We're looking at the legal professional bill. And you have a copy, right, Andy?
We brought a copy, Matt. Believe it or not, we were able to get a copy of the 2010 legal professional bill. And we have it, and we're going to read it right here. Not only that, man, I'm going to tell you. How do you find out all about the police from you know, are the police trying to shut me up now too? Because I did receive a few calls from them.
Andy, believe me, I have sources.
This is a
I have
play.
sources. They tell me, Andy, you're trying to cause some trouble.
Are you serious? The victim is now being attacked. I mean, I'm the victim here in this case, I would think, right?
As a matter of fact, I got in some information there. They got permission, or they were asked to pick you up.
Well,
pick you up for what?
You know, it's quite possible, Matt. You know what I heard, and this was from one of my family members, and I think the information is being passed through. I was told that the police don't have to have anything on you, but they can keep you for 3 days in the cell
For suspicion?
until they figure out what to do with you. And I told them, well, just come and get me, because might as well, right? Because I mean, I feel like I'm the victim in this case. We've lost a significant amount of money. We've made a report, but the so-called bad actor has not been arrested as yet. But they feel that I should be put away for exposing the bad actors. Well, today, Matt, I brought you a long list of names that we should call that have reportedly reached out there to help the bad actors. So I think everybody needs to know where we stand, because I think everything should be exposed, and the people of Dominica should know exactly what's going on beneath the sheets. So I think the police might be a little worried about the fact that we're taking action.
I suspect they may be waiting for you downstairs.
But maybe.
They have done this before, you know.
You know, Matt, I've been in handcuffs before, so it's not my first rodeo. So let's get it started.
But you're not afraid of the cell.
You know, Matt, it's a place to rest and to think. We have to make sure that we understand that justice needs to be served somewhere and somewhat. And at any time wrong has been done, we should look for correction. The universe wants that. So here we go. Talk on the block again. I think it's a good day. It's Monday. Everybody out there, welcome. Turn on your radios, pull out your lunch. As Matt said, get your coffee ready, because this is going to be some interesting information we have for you all today. And we have a lot more guests. And Matt, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I have quite a few people who reached out to help me. And I was looking for help, because a guy like me, I carry a lot of weight, but I wasn't looking for help.
Mm-hmm.
But quite a few people reached out to help me. And Matt, you would never guess who. The real estate agents of the world came to my, back.
To your rescue?
To my I didn't need rescue. But they came out, Matt, and they've said too long have these lawyers messed up real estate deals for them, or in some cases not even paid them their due amounts. So there it is, that the real estate agent, the people who sell houses or who buy houses for other people, literally showed up and said, look, these people need to be stopped. There needs to be fairness and equality once it comes to the legal situation in Dominica. So, so I think we're building up a good following here, and people need to know how these attorneys are fleecing their pockets and raping the Dominican public, and we're going to expose them today.
But you heard a few of the top echelons there, top brass of the legal fraternity, the president and the vice president, of course,
Yes.
on the radio last week, actually defending the lawyers.
They were, but it's a club. It's a legal club where everybody stands together and nobody breaks ranks. And not only that, I'm going to tell you, these folks came on here, and if you notice, they didn't say very much. But today, I'm going to explain to you all the things that they didn't say to the Dominican public. And what else would we expect from them?
They also said, though, and to be fair to them, they said, well, Andy said some things last week that he was not sure, and you have to be very careful about some statements as it relates to the taxes and the CBI.
Or you mean the tax evasion?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing, Matt. I'm going to tell you, you and I don't have an account in Dubai. but there are several attorneys that do. Why would an attorney have an account in Dubai of all places? Why not St. Kitts or St. Lucia? Why do we need accounts in Dubai? Matt, what type of people would have an account in Dubai that you know right now? So here's the thing. I have evidence. I can show them my evidence, Matt. I mean, I'll be happy to sit down and talk, but we should not shelter these people. These people are evading taxes in Dominica by putting offshore accounts out there. And Matt, you know, it's simple. We can find it. I'm pretty sure if we pull up the attorney's banking information, the FSU, who is a good unit at investigating financial crimes in Dominica, could pull up these accounts and see where the money is going.
So what has happened to the FSU then?
I don't know. They seem
They're
to
not
be
interested?
apparently the FSU seems to be like the bar right now. It's non-functional because what are they doing? Are they helping Dominica? Because this is a unit that is paid for by the Dominican taxpayers to protect people in Dominica, but yet they're not doing a very good job at that. So when you're looking at things like the Inland Revenue, the FSU, and the police department, all these departments are supposed to be individual departments that represent the people of Dominica. But are they or have they been tampered with by other people, Matt? This is what we're going to look at today. And I think it deserves some airtime because we got to get those people working again and we have to get them in line. So maybe they think I don't have evidence, Matt, but I do. And, you know, last week I heard them on the radio talk about the legal bill, and I had to go get a copy, Matt. And I was literally told. I've been approached by several attorneys, but I don't know if you, Matt. You want me to give you a little history real quick? I'm gonna run it down for you.
Well, let's take a break.
Let's take a break first because we don't want to give people too much all at once.
You can have a coffee and then we'll come back. Okay, Dominica, we're here for a few hours there until about 3:30, 3:15. We're gonna come back, Dominica, right after this. My telephones are now going crazy, so stick around. Stick around.
You do shop at SCN, better than the rest. Shop at SCN, and the other one shop at SCN. You get more for life. Shop at SCN, shop at SCN, yeah. Shop at SCN, shop at SCN, shop at SCN. Yes, family, customer friendly, with free locations, it's so convenient, and our prices. That's where you belong. So tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCN. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCN. And the nan and cousin friend, open power, all of them. My grandma, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Roosevelt.
I see Golo in shopping for farming supplies. So I ask him, what are you doing inside Bloombox? Do you have a farm? He tell me, that's how it has sort. I've been married 37 years. Look at my money farm. They say, no, not woman, like land for farming crops. And then you understand, Bloombox is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Rosal. Bloombox. Let's bloom together.
Let me, by way of introduction, introduce our other persons here who seem to have some problems with the legal professional bill and is dragging the dragging of the feet. And they feel that they've been a victim of this dragon. Let me allow this young lady. She has a degree, law degree from the University of London. She's not a practicing lawyer just yet, but she has a little background in terms of law. Let's say good afternoon to you, young lady. How you doing? Why are you so serious?
Good afternoon, Mr. Penalty. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Farah Theodore. I am a legal and environmental activist, a freelance journalist. I got my own column in the Sun newspaper
Okay.
since 2018. So I do write environmental and legal issues, including the Legal Profession Act, or bill as some refer to. And I heard you mention that last week the president and vice president of local
President and the
bar
vice president,
association
yes.
were here.
Are you a member?
No, I'm glad I'm not.
Why?
I would not be comfortable. That's not a group for me. And I'll explain why. Because you stated the president, who is that, Mrs. Noelis Naididi?
Yes.
They were defending lawyers. In what sense? I don't understand. How are they defending them?
In the sense where they said, well, they don't have the power to take action, but they're saying that they can call a lawyer and basically say, you know, we've heard that report, but they can't discipline them because they don't have the act is not in place.
So why is the purpose of a bar association?
Well, to provide training, to provide education for the education. That's part of the reason that they gave. Is there something wrong with that?
Yeah, there is something wrong, because for them to claim it's not their duty to regularly discipline, their members, it's inconsistent with, the public interest of the people and the statutory framework they work in. After all, they are officers of the court. They have a duty to discipline their members and you have phone call. Now, I will say this. Some of us remember a certain person, a former past president of the Bar Association in France, in Baronway. Rings a bell, right?
Right.
We had one named Levi Peter, right? And the two I just mentioned, they eventually became attorney generals, right?
Right.
In their capacity, when they sat as presidents of the Bar Association, they were like, oh, we're going to pass this, we're going to do that. And when they became attorney generals, nothing happened. Now, it's no secret current president does have political aspirations of her own. She is affiliated to a local political party. Where Francine Barron comes in, and I want to make clear to the people, the Legal Profession Act wasn't drafted out of the goodness of their heart or a sense of duty to
You
the
don't
people.
think so?
No.
Okay.
And I will read a quote for you, for the benefit of the listeners. I pulled it up from the Hansard. And that was the Hansard meeting of the House Assembly, Thursday, July 24, 2008. Back then, Earl Williams was the leader of the opposition for that. So,
in fact, this whole thing started with Earl Williams, if you want to go back. And for many people who don't know, Earl Williams, past politician, UWP, and apparently he was also an attorney that used to live in Dominica, from Dominica. And Earl Williams got caught apparently using clients' funds for his own benefit. In fact, some people may have thought that it was gambling, and basically somebody wanted to take action against him. So that is just a little history, and now you can go ahead and read exactly your code so people are familiar.
yeah, and thank you so much for that. So she used it as a tool against him in Parliament, and she said, and I quote,
It's coming?
No.
No. I'm just a preamble. I remember.
Yes, it's coming.
Oh, go ahead.
So she said, I want to inform the honorable leader of the opposition that he can rest assured that the Legal Profession Act is coming. We expect to receive the comments from the Dominica Bar Association on the bill very soon. And we should be in a position to table the legal profession bill before this parliament later this year. That was in July 2008 when she made that statement.
2008?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, remember the copy is dated here, legal professional bill that I have in my hand, of 2010. So technically speaking, it did come and it is here. And go ahead.
Okay. And just one more line. She says, soon, Madam Speaker, those in the profession who take clients' funds and cannot account for them will be subject to the full force of the law. Those who are caught will be weeded out, and so that the good name of the profession can be maintained. That was then the Honorable Francine Barron.
That is true. In fact, she's still the Honorable Francine Barron. but yeah, but those words were said, and to tell you the honest to God truth, it did come. The question is, what was done about it?
I think they read two
readings.
There was a little sort of reluctance in terms of getting out. I heard there's a lot of discussion before the third reading was read on Monday, and somebody decided
that's it. Well, Matt, is that the truth though?
I just spoke to Mr. Michael Astafan this morning. I might try to pull up that
Well,
clip.
Matt, I found out the real story behind this, and I can give you the honest to God story.
Okay, well, we're listening.
I will tell you, since this begun,
Mm-hmm.
we've gotten call from several attorneys, and I'm going to call all their names because guess what? Everything needs to be aired out in here. And
They called your name.
No. These attorneys have called us
Okay.
to discuss the case in some form or another.
All right.
They've called either with questions or with discussions. So since this Kondwani case came up with Jolly's Pharmacy, we've heard from Mr. Lennox Lawrence. We've heard from Mr. Duncan Stowe. I got a call from Miss Francine Barron as well, believe it or not, pretending like she didn't know exactly what the legal professional bill was for some reason. So I've gotten a call from her as well. We've gotten a call from Miss Kathy Burfong. We've gotten a call from the police department, the police chief himself, several times, right? So, I mean, listen to the type, and the list probably goes on, man. I don't want to stay on here all day and just call names. I got a call from Mr. Ronald Charles. He wants to discuss a few. Everybody wants to discuss things. Everybody's afraid of this legal professional bill. And Matt, the truth is, with the legal professional bill, that came to light. It did have two readings in Parliament. But the attorneys in Dominica decided that this bill will never see the light of day. The attorneys wanted a code of ethics bill, just simply things saying, hey, here's how the attorney should practice. They didn't want anything with teeth that would bite. And a lot of people don't understand this. The attorneys want to practice, but they want no repercussions if they do something wrong or if they have done something wrong in the past that could come back and affect them financially or even put them in a space where they need to be somewhat disciplined by law and order. So basically, the attorneys literally vowed that this bill written by Mr. Geoffrey Harris and submitted will never come to light in Dominica.
Ray Harris.
Ray Harris.
Yes.
I said Geoffrey, I apologize. Will never come to light in Dominica. Nobody wants this bill to exit. Matt, and I'm going to tell you.
I spoke to the AG last week, to be fair. He said the bill is on his desk, but they've had other bills that seem to be getting priority.
That's part of the conspiracy. The AG is part of the conspiracy. And I can tell you, how is it? Just think about this for a second. That a bill that was raised in 2010, mind you, this was copied pretty much from Jamaica. Jamaica has the same, pretty much the same bill. We've just changed the names around. From 2015 to 2025 cannot come to light as yet. Now, this was written in 2010.
It's not a priority for them.
Well, obviously it's not because it hasn't become on a desk. So here, he said people like us with all these grievances.
He told me last week, not to quote verbatim, he said, yes, the bill is there and they're going to decide.
The AG is part of the problem because the AG wanted this bill. The AG, Francine Barron used to be the AG, but Matt, is it possible?
Why the dragging of feet though?
Is it possible that the government, who is supposed to be an independent party, doesn't want this bill? Because is it possible that government officials are literally being held hostage by the attorneys and this bill will never move forward? In fact, the reason why it's going back and forth is because they're removing all the teeth from it. So what we're going to get is a watered down bill which says, hey, there's nothing really in this, but let's pass it anyway so we can just say we have a legal professional bill. Matt, the original version of this was just fine. There was no change. Jamaica put it in play. Why would people want to change this? This is perfect. It was perfect. It was written by Mr. Ray Harris, who's one of the brilliant brains of this time. Why would you want to change his work and remove this and change this and edit? Why all this editing, Matt? Have you asked yourself a question? Why?
That's what I'm asking. Why they dragging this? But let's bring in my friend there just for a minute. Good afternoon to you, sir. Can you bring on the microphone a bit? I know you've been having some problems with the law. What's your take on this legal professional bill?
Good day, afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
I think it's almost a foolish question to wonder why they're not putting something in place that would hold them accountable when they profit from it not being accountable. I don't think one would suspect that the fox is going to stop himself from going in the hen house to eat
chickens.
Right? But if the chickens themselves do not decide that they don't want to be eaten by the fox, nothing will stop them from being eaten. The only way that a bill like this would actually pass is by referendum. But to imagine that the same lawyer who actually most likely will become a politician, look at our parliament and the proportion of lawyers within the parliament, it is not possible that power checks itself. It never has happened in the world under any government in the world. If you're waiting for powerful people to limit their own power, that is a fool's game. Only when the people demand justice is the lawyer required to follow ethics. And the fact that we know that the only way you can run a, let's say, dictatorship, authoritarian, or a limited democratic experience, I don't know how properly to express what we are now. But the only way to effectuate that and to keep themselves in power is to not have ethical accountability. And so it is in the self-interest of the ruling class not to allow a poor man to win a case against a rich man, because that's the key to a nation's development. The whole key to our development is when powerful people can be checked by law. So as power was consolidated within this, I don't know, there's so many names that come through my head and none of them are pretty, but the power structure we have right now, even before that, there was a need for justice, right? But if a poor man cannot win against a rich man and everything is rigged against him, then the country goes in one direction and one direction only, and that's down.
That's true.
And we right now have to understand that if we're not standing, nobody's going to pick us up. And what allows us to stand is things like justice, ethical laws, accountability, right? None of these things should we expect to come from above us. In history, it's never happened. End of slavery, voting rights, healthcare, social security. You name the thing that people need, people had to stand up to get it. And that's why this intimidation and this crazy process. Can I say one thing for 1 minute? I'm sorry I've spoken long. I'm in a case against the government right now, okay, in which I am taking the government to high court, asking them to follow their own laws because they have taken property from me, destroyed the river. I've been on here a few times. I don't want to rehash the whole thing and waste time. But the point is simple. Over 2 years, I could not get a private lawyer to zealously advocate against the government because, of course, I can never offer the same perks that a government can. I just want my rights. And they have no ethical constraint, as we've just been discussing. So then I'm forced to self-represent, right? Because I've already been wiped out for tens of thousands of dollars that I've in loans to get lawyers, right? So now I stand up in court self-representing. And actually, in law, it says that if you self-represent, there's something called a Mackenzie friend. You can have another layperson that assists you because I'm not a lawyer. I've been denied protection by zealous advocacy of a lawyer. Now I have to do it myself, right? So now I want assistance from somebody who is knowledgeable, more knowledgeable than me, and can be ethical. Because after all the lawyers I went to, I couldn't find one that would actually represent my rights, zealously. What does the judge say? The judge refuses me the ability to have an assistant, which is my constitutional right, on the reasoning that I should go to legal aid. When I tell the judge that legal aid is paid by the government and the government is the defendant in the case, and if my lawyer is paid by the defendant, I don't think I can have an impartial trial. I was told by the judge that I was forum shopping, that I was vexatious, all of these other things, when the only demand is, can I have an impartial hearing?
Well, I don't think it's possible to have an impartial
That's
hearing. I mean, because here it is that, Matt, nobody brings a case against the government. You know who called me to, Matt? The people from the government. They're actually happy that I'm bringing this to light. You know why? It took a little pressure off them. They said, Andy, we were tired of you talking about us. So it's good that you and Matt now talking about somebody else. So it's kind of like they finally got a little break from the pressure that Matt and I sit here all the time and we talk about the government and what they're doing or not doing. And they actually called and said, geez, thanks, we needed a break. So I mean, even they are part of, they're listening and people listen.
They're afraid.
Well, I think here it is, Matt, that there's a lot that's been gone wrong. And for many people who don't know, let's go back a little bit. You have to remember in Dominica, there were a lot of lawyers that actually, well, I wouldn't say a lot, a few lawyers who got caught up in the 9/11 program that happened in America. These lawyers were actually under investigation for actually funneling funds through Al-Qaeda and were investigated for that. And you have to remember, there's a lot of lawyers who've actually done things that probably would fit on here and would be instantly be available for disciplining. So if we put something like this in place today, there would be probably quite a few people that would come up right before, literally come up into the system right away and say, hey, you need to address this, because this book here, the way it's written, a lawyer literally has just a few days. Once something is brought up against your name, Matt, the lawyer has just a few days to put things in order and say, hey, come and speak to this. You cannot just say, hey, let me just ignore this. The legal ramifications of this are so great, Matt, that if we just look at the parts of this, whether it be the discipline, the conduct of the lawyers, this is a very strict book. In fact, I'm glad I found this book, because literally this is like the holy grail of, if you needed a good lawyer, this would be the book that they would need to follow. And for many people here who don't see the book, I mean, I have a copy of it here. It's written in black and white. I can tell you, this is amazing work that was done here.
And you have highlighted some areas.
I've highlighted some areas.
Sarah, you wanted to make a comment there.
Yeah, a couple of comments.
Bring the microphone closer to you, please. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. We should not shield the current Attorney General, Levi Peter.
You not shield him?
We should not shield him. We should hold his feet to the fire. Because right now, he is the longest serving Attorney General, 15 years, one of the highest paid public servants. And so far, he has nothing to show for it, except he's very proficient in dereliction of his duty. There are several acts, including this one, that he has failed to make to pass. On a shelf sitting somewhere doing nothing. So we need to put pressure on where pressure is supposed to be, and that's directly on him. He's a failure.
So the AG should be pulled up.
Well, probably reprimanded for not doing the job, because an AG has a job to do. And literally, Matt, I agree for some. This is a failure on the AG to do the job, because this is the AG's job, and a job from 2010 that is not done in 2025.
Let me ask a question. Is the AG here to represent government, or is the AG here to represent the people?
As the Constitution clearly says, he is the guardian of the Constitution. He is the legal advisor of the government and Parliament. And he's a member of cabinet as well. He cannot turn around like the bar association, put their hands up and say, oh, I have nothing to do with it. You have everything to do with it. And the record shows he has been on different news things. He's on the record saying he advocates for it. He supports it. I'm going to do this.
Just lip service.
Exactly. That is what he's good at. But one thing, though, he's very adamant about is the Riot Act. Because recently, back in July, I think, the Bar Association had an annual legal lawyer thingy. They do. And there was a public discussion in Riot Act. He was very adamant. He wanted it to stand.
But what about this young lady as well? That's been kind of is the DPP, Miss Dirampol. I think what is the role of the DPP, Matt? Just to ask a good question.
Director of
You know,
Public
Sherma Dirampol, because isn't that person supposed to be taking up any grievances that are public? It's a public servant,
Mhm.
and if we have something that's in the public interest, that is, shouldn't Miss Sherma Dirampol be taking that to the AG, and then the AG should be doing? Isn't that how it should work? So Miss Sherma Dirampol should be in there somewhere as well too, right?
I want to try to see if I can get the AG this afternoon. I hope he answers. But let's listen to a view there by the president of the Bar Association when she spoke to me last week, and I said, do the Bar Association has any power? Let's listen to a sound bite from her last week.
Even in terms of our membership, we are also members of the OECS Bar Association, the Organization of Commonwealth Caribbean Bar Associations, the Commonwealth Law Association as well.
Mhm.
We are members of all of those organizations. In that way, we receive educational pieces from them, and also we are able to contribute on an international scale as well.
I don't know how you're going to react to this one. It has been said, and I'm sure you've heard it, that the Dominica Bar Association has no teeth, if you local parlance there. How do you defend that?
Yes, I was really hoping, Matt, yesterday on Tuesday when you indicated that the Bar Association is, I think Mr. Jolly indicated that I said that the Bar Association was not functional.
Have you said that?
Not at all, never. I mean, those words would never come out of my mouth. That
Okay.
I said that the Bar Association is non-functional.
Mr. Jolly, I hope you're listening.
We are
Yeah.
functioning
Okay.
as much as we can as busy professionals.
Right.
As Ms. Roberts indicated, we are busy, and our first priority is to our clients.
Mhm.
That's our first priority. I cannot put aside my clients' work and do Bar Association work, but it must come in. It is important, and we are quite functional, as we indicated with the panel discussions that we have with the continuing legal education, with our public education series, our pro bono days, and so on. We are quite functional. And I mean, I think, Matt, I heard you on one occasion actually defend the Bar Association when one of your callers was indicating that the Bar Association was silent on a matter. And Matt said, no, not at all. Yes, the Bar Association is quite vocal on several matters that come up. So I was really surprised there on Tuesday to hear you chime in. I didn't know that you would be so easily persuaded, man, that the Bar Association is not functioning. We are certainly functioning. But in terms of our regulatory role, and I think maybe I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that that's what you were trying to say in terms of our regulatory role and our ability to discipline lawyers. No, we have no teeth where that is concerned. What we can do, and complaints are made to the Bar Association about lawyers, is simply try to mediate a solution. So we can call the lawyer in question, we speak with them, we speak with the complainant, we may even bring them together and try to mediate a resolution. But we do not have a disciplinary arm. We are not regulated by law to discipline lawyers. Only the court can do so. So in terms of the ability to discipline lawyers or to disbar lawyers, the court in Dominica can do so by law. So it is.
All right. So you heard it, Andy.
And Matt,
You agree
I
or
did.
disagree?
But here's the thing. I think it's a good songbite, Miss Nweliza Knight Didier, to pronounce all the names, because I think she said make sure we pronounce all the names, so we have to make sure we do that. But I think it's true. But I don't recall Jolly's ever being called in. I don't recall Mr. Kondwani Williams ever being called in to discuss this. We've never had a face-to-face. In fact, I cannot tell you that there has been no mediation with Mr. Kondwani Williams and Jolly's Pharmacy concerning this event. So maybe that
You mean no lawyer has called you in, Andy?
Well, I'm talking about the Bar Association
On a one-on-one.
on a one-on-one, and we did file all the paperwork that we did file. We actually sent them to the Bar Association, to Miss Knight as well. So I am going to tell you, while this may supposedly be the standard operating procedure, that procedure was not followed followed at all. And maybe she might call in and say, hey, we did. Maybe I didn't get the letter or the note or the voice note or something, but I don't recall Miss Noeliza Knight or the Bar Association ever inviting Jolly's Pharmacy or Mr. Kondwani Williams to a formal sit-down interview. So that was never done. So I have to say, I'm sorry, this is untrue.
Let's go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, you want to
Yeah,
read it?
in regards to the clip, if she asserts that the Bar Association is not their duty to regulate or discipline lawyers, then my question to her is according to what law rule? Even the Bar Association, they always late to the party, but certain things I heard them give little press releases on, they like to refer to the rule of law. But what is the rule of law? Because clearly states no one is above the law. And the lawyers have to realize the law is not for them, it's for us, the people. Even the Constitution protects us, our right to a fair trial, our right to have your matters in a timely manner. And in Dominica, what she should have expounded on is that what we have available is the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court Act.
It's true.
There are a few little sections in there we can use to bring a matter to the court. But even in the bar, they should have some rules and guidelines for their members.
Well, again, the bar is non-existent in terms. I'm gonna just put that out there. I mean, the last thing I saw the bar highlighted, Matt, was that they were having a fundraiser, and that was the last thing that they did. And I don't think the bar has been very influential in educating the Dominican people. We're having conversations all the time on the radio concerning what the law in terms of the election. We're having election reform, and when has the bar put out a statement concerning anything that's been going on, the rights of the people, what is right or what is wrong, or I mean, when does the bar put out the statistics? And Matt, I think what we should do, we should actually call the police station and see how many grievances have been filed from people against lawyers and what action have been taken. So if they want to show something, say, hey, here's a grievance that was done by gentleman A, and here's the action or the statement we put out. But they have never, ever, and I'm going to put never, ever on paper until I see it, put out a statement concerning grievance, client versus attorney, and I have never seen that on record.
But another thing, we do have what we call common law principles in regard to professional conduct and the fiduciary duties of lawyers. But a question I have for the Bar Association is, when a new attorney comes on, does not the membership of the bar give them the authority to advocate in court? So if they have guidelines as any group or club or association, if somebody breaches those guidelines, can they not discipline them by suspending their membership from the bar?
Actually, that's in the act. That's in the act. The problem is that the act has never been guided.
Never been passed. Let's take a phone call. A few people have been calling. Hello, are you there, caller? Yes?
Yes, Matt. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm here.
Okay, Matt, it's a very good program. I remember one of your guests mentioned the statement the former AG Francine Barron made some years ago with respect to Earl Williams. We're coming for the lawyers. We're coming for them. And right now, everything shells, Matt. And Matt, I just want you to, there are times I want to respect your program and you can interject, but...
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. You're there.
But sometimes give Mr. Jolly a little more leeway, because what he's saying has been productive and understandable, and I'm trying to get his point. So give him a little more leeway than interjecting him too often. Thank you.
Oh, you want to hear more, Mr. Jolly? Okay, somebody says, I think the former bank manager says, Mr. Jolly, note that the FSU report to the Ministry of Finance authorities, including the IMF, objected to this reporting procedure because of the conflict of interest. The MP was not in favor, and most recommendations made by the FSU were swept under the rug. So you figure me, friend. Please send this text to, or send Andy my number. So I'll send you. As a former bank manager, he says,
Matt, isn't that like another bank manager again calling? And even when we had the attorneys on the show, they said, well, here's what happens with client funds. Remember that? We had a bank manager call in and says, this is definitely not what happens with clients' funds. Clients' funds are being put into attorneys' private account where they're using it as their private money for their private fulfillment, which is totally illegal. So here's another bank manager calling and saying, hey, the FSU reports to the financial department. Matt, who has been our financial minister for the last few years? Not the current one. Who do you remember as being the financial
Mr. Scary for many years.
So
until maybe last election.
So we did get to the bottom of the matter. So we know where the buck stops. It stops with Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt. So for those of y'all who need to know why we're going for this, we've just come to the end of the road. And guess who we met there? Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt. Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a break, Dominique. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to call at this time and ask them. We're going to come back.
What are you doing inside Bloombox? You have a fam? You tell me, that's how tell sort. I've been married 37 years. Look at my money fam. They say, no, not woman, like land for farming crops. And then you understand, Bloombox is the most affordable on island. Knapsacks starting at only $57.71. Elsewhere, it's $300 plus. Cutlass seeds, seeding trays, nursery pots, sales of potting mix, all at way better prices than anywhere else. Fertilizers, 3-in-1 multi-tool, and so much more. Located on Federation Drive, Goodwill. Second property on the right after the Valley Link Road and on the corner of Drury Lane and Hanover Street in Rosal. Bloombox. Let's bloom together.
Cause I'm on my way.
KFC delivery is here. Just place your order at www.kfcdominica.com, Facebook or WhatsApp 614-2633 and your order will be delivered to you. KFC, it's good.
Cause I'm on my way.
But do you really have money to burn? What about your commitments? Have you paid your bills? What about your telephone bill, your light bill, your water bill? What are you going to use to pay your loan? A truck of stones? NCCU wants you to continue to make wise financial decisions that will not leave you stressed. Think of your commitments. Commit to your commitments. Commit to saving. And then you can have some money to burn.
I think somebody is on the telephone. Are you there, caller? Sorry about that. You can call. The numbers are 449-3095, 96 and 97. Andy, can you get to some quotations from that bill? Let us know what's in there. Hello, talk to me. Coming back on the telephone. Are you there? Yes.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call. Good program. It's a jolly. You're eating here right on hill. It's a man like you that can help Dominica to save the poor people. Because this people have been ripping up people. The first thing is wrong in this country. So much terrible, evil works. And then God come in. Good for them. There's evil people at Dominica. So the Prime Minister go down. All of them. Thank you.
All right, thank you. On the telephone, are you there, caller? Oh, sorry, I missed that call. Are you there, yes?
Hey, Mr. Peltier, blessings to you, greetings.
Blessings to you, blessings.
The Empress in the house, blessings, and Dr. Jolly, blessings.
Thank you.
Not if Dr. Jolly, if let's say there were about 5 young men who violated Dr. Jolly, maybe break into his business, his vehicle or something, and he printed flyers with their faces matched and their names posted all over Dominica, you think he would have heard from the policeman?
I'm sure.
Are you making a joke when you said that the police tell you to try to restrict Mr. Jolly based on his utterances after being violated?
Not utterances. I think they said, based on my sources, that he may have done something that was quote unquote against the law, and they had interest. Yes, 449-3095. I can't tell you more than I know, but I'm just telling you what they've indicated to me. Yes, are you there?
You there with me? Yes,
I'm
but
here.
you're talking about the police in a matter between a client and a lawyer. Did Mr. Jolly maybe physically or some other way touch the brother, offend the brothers. I just want to.
No physical attack on the brother. No, Kondwani, no physical attack. But I can tell you something may have happened that they felt that they needed to bring him in for. But again, he has denied, and I give him the benefit of the doubt. Hello, talk to me, yes.
Yeah, I just want to conclude. You
Yes,
with me, Matt?
I'm here. Yes.
I am just saying, Matt, I tell you already, it's a cluster of criminals that govern Dominica. Matt, you cannot tell me, Matt. You have a matter like that, the sensitivity of the matter, based on the man telling you the amount of money he lost. And he's talking because he feels he have not received proper justice or attention, whatever the case may be, Matt. I listened to Mrs. Didier, I respect for one matter she came out and talk about, but it seems a bit paradoxical, actions and utterances on your program, almost like, making excuses. Matt, you cannot have people violating you in such a way and walking on eggshells when it comes to your actions, seeking redress, Matt. That is violation in the worst way. So, Matt, it is very sad to see these people are protecting each other. And I ask the question, that's the final thing. Can the Bar Association deal with that before a court settlement? And she said no. And very interesting, how convenient. And the Empress asked, so what is the use for a bar, also for the Bar Association? So you see the contradiction, you see the game, you see the trickery, everybody protecting the interest, Matt. We might have a different way of dealing with matters, Matt. Have a blessed one.
All right, are you there, caller, on the telephone? Oh, sorry, missed that call. A lot of comments there on Facebook. But Andy, before we took the break, we're going to go back to some of the aspects of the bill that you wanted to highlight.
Matt, I'm going to highlight it. And before me, for those people who are listening in Radio Land, we have the 2010 Legal Professional Bill of the Commonwealth of Dominica. It's Part 1 preliminary. And then Part 2, Dominica Bar Association and Law Council. Part 3, Enrollment, Admission, and Status. Then you have Part 4, Accounts, and Part 5, Discipline. Part 6, Legal Education and Law Reporting. Part 7, Remuneration and Cost. And Part 8, Miscellaneous Item. But Matt, the parts that are interesting, probably the one that says accounts,
disciplinary,
and the disciplinary. So those are the two important ones that I think should highlight. And I'm just gonna read a couple in here. And this is the teeth part, Matt. This is where if the lawyers were disobedient or somewhat uncouth or maybe have done something in error to somebody, this is where that the law would literally chime in and step in. And this is what a lot of the lawyers do not want in Dominica. They do not want to see a bill like this because now everybody is gonna have to straighten up. And I don't know if you remember when the two ladies were on, they mentioned, well, Dominica and St. Vincent were the only two places that does not have a bill, but everywhere else has. And
let me ask the young lady there. She's not a lawyer just yet. Have you heard of any lawyers in Dominica being debarred there? Have you heard? Any Dominican lawyer has been debarred? Huh?
No, I'm not aware of that.
So no lawyer in Dominica has done nothing wrong?
No. They have done plenty.
Oh, the lawyers have done plenty wrong.
They have plenty wrong.
And they've gotten away with it.
And getting away. And the court itself is complicit in that as well. The last 3 judges we had.
Go ahead, yes.
The court is complicit as well. I remember some years ago, I met Curtis Maffei. I told him, it's funny they come to the marriage court when a crime, murder happens, but most of the crimes happen in the civil court.
In the civil court.
Oh yes, people lose hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's white collar crimes,
man. A lot of heavy crimes going on, and the lawyers flaunt it. Others protect each other. They won't pursue a matter for you, and the judges are part of the problem. I will say that because they are.
You'll say that.
The last 3 female judges we had were utter disgraces.
Well, she said it herself. So you wanted to make a comment there quickly, yes?
Yeah, real quick.
Yes.
Right now, the law is being used as a shield for the corruption instead of a sword for the victim. So normally the law is to protect victimization, violation of rights, crimes and such. But those who are the professionals in law are the most able to use the law at the service of power, not at the service of protection of anybody except those in power. And because it's financially more interesting for them to serve those who are already wealthy than actually serve patriotically the rights of the victim, without that accountability, it'll always be that. And again, the only way that that law would ever pass is if there was a public outcry for a referendum on passing it, because self-interested, powerful people will not check their own power.
So you're basically saying in a nutshell that the people needs to stand.
The people need to make a public demand for ethical laws, for a proper justice system. Otherwise, it never happens.
We'll never have a good justice system.
The king never decides to love his subjects' rights. It's the subjects that decide we have rights too. It was never the slave master that decided one day, I'm going to end slavery. It was slaves who decided no more slavery. And if we think that somehow through nice talking and all of that, that something will be done by magic or some miracle, that's why things get worse and worse. And we should have no illusions about it. That's it.
Yeah, but even then, that is where the Bar Association is a massive failure to the people.
100%.
Because the advocacy work, they should be front and center of that. They call members to the bar when they get a nice black robes to go to court. And I know, because I get shunned every time I go to court. I represent myself. I have friends of mine. Oh, Farr is not a lawyer. But they cannot argue the merits of a case. Give them that. They cannot argue to save their life. But what I'm trying to say is they are fairly people. We have a constitution, which is the framework to guide, those in power and so on. If Noelis and company want us to take them seriously, they're going to step up and defend the people.
Yeah.
The constitution protects us, and what they're doing is failing the public because we have people matters are delayed in the court. Some have like 10 years and counting going on. That is insane. Even she herself was an attorney of mine. She's no longer is. That is to give you an example, right? A lot of people I know have lawyers. We fire them because they're not getting representation, but they send a nice big fat invoice when they're ready.
Oh yeah, they invoice. Actually, the lawyers in Dominica are probably better at invoicing. I can tell you, I have one that invoiced me for $1.5 million, and we haven't seen the money since or anything with the money.
Client accounts unregulated. It's insane. It is wild, and I know there are a couple matters before the court. And that is why we have a constitutional crisis or we have a legal crisis. A part of me feels, as much as I love the law and I have passion for it, a part of me feels that court need to close the doors because it has no effect.
And you feel strongly about that?
Well, Matt, we can.
I go in for it.
Yeah, Matt.
It is a war fighting here.
But Matt, we cannot just blame the lawyers though, because here it is that this thing was written to help protect the people against the lawyers and to help regulate the lawyers by what they do on a daily basis. But we also have to remember that Parliament, the people in Parliament have not passed this. And you have to ask yourself a question. Yes, the lawyers may not want this, but the people who lead the Parliament, why haven't they given this to the people? So let's go above the lawyers for a sec. In any society, you're going to have unruliness. In fact, if they voided all the laws of Dominica and the police had no power, there would be total lawlessness in Dominica. But the reason that we have law and order in Dominica is because the police have been given some sort of mandate as to what to do. So the lawyers have never been given a mandate. They have no regulatory body. They have no consequences.
So you're saying the police don't have enough teeth, though?
Well, it's not about the police, man. It's about the people in Parliament that was supposed to pass this. What happened to this in Parliament? Why can't we get the laws passed in Parliament? And that is the question.
Majority of lawyers. I would expect lawyers
to regulate lawyers.
Yeah, but beyond that is where Levi Peter comes to play. In the Parliament, he's the main guy. He's the legal advisor inside there. He's the guardian of the Constitution and the rule of law.
So Levi Peters have not been effective.
Exactly.
But he did tell me just last week it's on his desk.
Well, Matt, everybody says it's on their desk. Well, Lisa said it was on her desk. Then Levi Peter says on his desk. What is it doing on a desk? This was from 2010. So if Levi has something on his desk from 2010 and we're 2025, how effective is this person? This is like almost bringing me a prescription, and by the time I give it to you, you'll be dead.
Let's take a phone call. Are you there, caller? Sorry about for
Oh
night.
my God, he needs to resign.
There seems to be some dragging of feet, obviously.
Matt,
No,
not
you
some
can't
dragging of feet. There seems to be some reluctance for passing this.
Let's stop being ambiguous about this. This is about power. And we should stop like dilly-dallying and pretending like people don't know what they're doing when they're big adults who are educated, intelligent people.
I'm being paid.
We should, 100%. We should actually talk truth to power for once. Because people get treated like a tebe because they act as if they're tebe.
I haven't heard that word in a while.
When people stand, all right. No, sorry, désolé. But the point is simple. We are dilly-dallying around about whether they know better.
They know better.
They know better. Let's not be. They profit from them.
In fact, this
they
is
profit from what
malicious.
they're doing. 100%.
Yes.
They are profiting from what they're doing. They are ruling by self-interest, and the only thing that protects them is not passing the law.
Well,
So let's
it's
not
not,
be
it's not
ambiguous.
even not passing the law. Here's the thing. Here's Levi Peters saying that
pretending
we are
they're doing
going to
process. Right, pretending that they're in the process.
One at a time that we get in a conflict there. Go ahead, yes. One at a time.
But here's Levi Peters telling us that before he got in as the AG that he was going to do that. Now he's been in the AG's office for so many years and it's not been done. The question is, what is Levi Peters doing in the AG's office?
Here's the answer. This is a very simple answer. He's protecting the power that pays him. And the reality is, we should stop listening to sweet lies and looking at real actions.
Let's take a voice note here. Yes, go ahead.
I heard of Dominican lawyer that was banned from operating in England. So if they're looking for some kind of for not doing their job,
I suspect you have to call me back on that note because your
Yeah,
voice
he
is coming.
goes to England.
Helen, talk to me. Yes, are you there?
Yeah, just quickly, Matt, less than a minute. The brethren that did, the other brethren, Ross, sorry, I did not acknowledge, I did not realize you were there. Blessings. Matt, you heard about a guy that was beaten to death sometimes over the weekend?
Somebody called me just before I came on the radio, somewhere in Portsmouth. Yes.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes. And then there were one in Portsmouth in police custody, and there was another one in Roseau headquarters from Kingsville. Matt, what do you think Dominica is all about? What do you think Dominica is all about? Jolly talking about his money. He's talking about the lives of people, extrajudicial killing. You were not sentenced to death by a court or magistrate or judge, and police kill you. And then we're talking about, do not talk about vigilante justice and do not do this, do not do that. And the lawyers can do whatever they want. The politicians, the police can do whatever they want, and they're protecting each other. What do you expect the people to do, Matt? Thank you.
Not all lawyers are members of the bar, so who's going to take action against these non-members? Huh? That's an important point. Not all members. What's that?
Which practicing attorney is not a member of the bar?
A number of them. A number of them are not. A number of them. I think I asked Joshua last week if he was. He said no, he's not a member. I've spoken to a few of the lawyers who are not members.
Okay, but back to Mr. Levi Peter.
Yes.
You see, it's not a matter of he protecting those in power.
Mm-hmm.
He has a duty to fulfill. And as far as I'm concerned, if he doesn't have the capacity to fulfill it, then he should be removed from that office. And where did the police want to abuse their power to threaten and intimidate other people? I need the chief of police to clarify something for me, he and Mr. Levi Peter. Because when he was appointed, I know he's official appointed, still acting.
Still acting.
Right. We're supposed to have a leader opposition to collaborate on that decision.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have a leader of the opposition. So his legitimacy is under question. So that is something for him to resolve before he wants to exert his power and influence on other people. Clarify that for us first between him and Mr. Peter. Now, another act, which I think should be almost like a sister to this one, is the Freedom of Information Act. We have a right to know things, and that is something protected from Principle 10 of the Rio Declaration and in the Escazú Agreement. where we, the members of the public, we have a right access to justice, access to information, and participation in public matters like this. I think we need to establish that. So when we speak of Legal Profession Act, freedom of information is supposed to go hand in hand, because we have a lot of questions and concerns on how do we get the information we need. Now, I have a matter of mine. I don't want to discuss it, but one of the points, features of it is that when it comes to misuse of monies,
Misuse of funds, then
yeah,
yes,
misuse of
monies received, yes, from clients.
you put an application before the court, like to trace or trace it, to follow the money where it is. And even that is a heel to client. So we have tools available to us, but the court system, I think we need to put some fire under there too, under the judicial system and the Attorney General himself, because I think it's high time he has to get out of office. He has overstayed his time and he has nothing to show for it. And also, Mr. Levi, Peter, if you're listening, not down here the 2012 environmental bill, the one that has not been passed yet. They're collecting.
You know how many bills have not? It would be fun to know all of those bills that were supposed to be passed that haven't been passed. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm interested in this one today because Mr. Kondwani owes me some money. And I'm going to tell you.
What's the latest on that one?
The latest on that, Matt. Apparently, the police has promised an arrest if the money is not paid by tomorrow at 6 p.m. But they know where I am. They're interested in arresting me, but they're not interested in arresting Mr. Kondwani. Well, the police can't shut me up. I'm going to tell you that right now. We need justice on this. But it's amazing that what have I done as a law-abiding citizen? When they know they have a criminal out there, they're not going behind the criminal, but the law-abiding citizen, Mr. Andy Jolly, tax-paying, professional citizen, pharmacist who wears a white jacket. And Matt, you know they don't give white jacket to anybody, right? There's only certain people they just give white jacket to. They want to come and get me. Well, here's the thing. Does justice have a fair eye in Dominica, Matt?
Let's listen to a voice note.
Yeah, Matt, it seems like without that law governing lawyers, there is no
this one?
Except one.
I suspect that this voice notes are cracking up.
The lawyers.
Sorry, we're having some problems with the voice note. Sorry about that. Yes, sorry about that. But you're saying that this matter may be resolved. Maybe, well, we don't have to go back on the radio.
Well, you know, if it is, maybe. But Matt, keep in mind, let's just put it this way. Just because a matter has been resolved, and let's say this has been resolved, where the money has been turned back.
Let's hope. Let's hope that by tomorrow
But
that's
keep in
resolved.
mind, the crime has still been done, so everything will still continue as it. You have to remember, the crime has been committed at that point, so therefore the crime must be prosecuted. There must be some degree of punishment for creating the crime. In fact, the same way that they wanted to punish Earl Williams a long time ago when this actually started, and many other lawyers have done this since. So we need to put a stop to this. And my personal vendetta or my personal goal is so that this never happens to anybody else in Dominica again. People need to go to their lawyers and get statements. In fact, my attorney this morning, Matt, asked me, and I was so ashamed to say, she asked me, well, Andy, I'm going to prosecute Mr. Kondwani to the fullest extent. Can you give me something that he gave you that shows a statement of your account? Matt, we didn't have a statement of our account. He never gave us a statement. That attorneys out there are taking clients' money, but not giving them full statements of their balances or their accounts in any way. So this means that you could give an attorney money and you could never see your money again because they could have spent it on groceries somewhere.
Right. And when he revealed that the police, like some arrests imminent, that is where the DPP comes to play.
The DPP should be right involved. But isn't it surprising that they have given him this beautiful leave of stay? He's still a practicing attorney. In fact, from my understanding, he's still getting other clients' money. He's still dealing with people's cases. Still going about the merry way.
The Bar Association
And the Bar Association has done
She
nothing.
trying to play.
But she said she doesn't have the law behind her to.
That is insane.
So what is the use of a bar association? We should dissolve the bar association, send everybody home. Don't call it a bar.
Exactly.
Call it a piece of wood.
Dominica, we're going to come back after this.
Just me Goldwyn in Roseau again. Same place outside Flossies. I tried to dock in, but you had time see me. Where? Story start again. Million, lot of my power with us, huh? Saka fella, I said the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossies. And you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I busy. It's to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket anymore, yeah. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Well, when you're still telling me, I know already. To pack a respect him, why? But it can my pepper palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica at the Flossies, right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Flossies can't do it to you.
Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Each and every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. with your hosts, Trudy Kristen and Paul pharmacist Jacinta Fagan and Leona Jeremiah. Education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together with Health Vibes. So be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in health.
Somebody says, man, they blocking your phone. There's nothing to hide there.
It's quite possible, Matt. They could be following us around tongue because, the people on this program have to be silenced because the attorneys out there are worried about their cases moving forward. They're worried that the public is now getting educated as to the standard operating procedure of these poor actors. These attorneys have been fleecing people for so many years. And now we're hearing about it in the public forum and they have an opportunity to see. And Matt, you know what's wrong? It's all the other people that says, boy, they did that to me too. I have 100 calls of people that say, boy, Andy, I get my fair share too.
So why are they afraid of coming out?
Matt, nobody wants to come out. Nobody wants their laundry in the public. People do not like Matt. Even my own family have reached out to me and said, but why don't you keep quiet about this? The police wants us to keep quiet. The family wants us to keep quiet because it is looked at as a form of disgrace. You've been taken advantage of.
You're washing the dirty linen in public. That's what it is.
But Matt, that's the best place to wash it. Nobody wants to wash clean linen in the dark.
But what does the linen have to do? It's not very serious.
That's what people say when you discuss matters.
Yeah, but that's for small and many people. It's a very serious matter.
This is very serious. It's big money.
It's treated with the degree of seriousness we need.
And we need all the representatives to treat it with the right degree of. This is a significant crime. Anywhere else in the world, Matt, the first day that this crime became, known, the individual should have been thrown in jail. He should have lost his license immediately as soon as this was found out.
The question is, and many people are asking, when will Andy be happy? After this is resolved?
But no, Matt. I don't think what is the resolve, and what can we see or ask?
So tomorrow, for example, tomorrow evening, you're told by the police that your 1.5 million is in your account.
That's right.
So you're happy then?
But I'm not happy, Matt.
Not
Matt,
at
Matt, the
I'm just
money,
asking.
the money is not going to make me happy. Money has never made me happy. I have not had money and I've had money. The money is not. It's the fact that there has been social disgrace. And there is a system that we should have in place to take care of people like that. We need to make sure that these people cannot attack our vulnerable citizens anymore. And we need to make sure that every lawyer out there sees this as an example of what will happen if they take advantage of people.
Well, there are not many Andys in the world, though.
But there's one that's going to make a difference. And Mr. Kondwani Williams will see this difference. And Matt, isn't that shocking? Earl Williams, Kondwani Williams. What's going on with the Williams family?
What are you trying to insinuate?
I'm just saying maybe all the Williams might need to be looked at because there's several Williams that have been bad actors.
You're painting a broad brush on it. You
Matt,
have to be very careful about that.
Matt, it's not a broad brush because here's the thing. Remember, Kondwani had a cousin named Michelle Williams who was supposedly manager at the NBD Bank.
All right.
And the reason why he got terminated was because he was a bad actor as well.
You're sure about that?
I am very sure about that. I'm certain. In fact, the truth is that he was actually passing Kondwani Williams deals so that he could get the deals done. So, I mean, there's those Williams, man. What's going on with the Williams? It's Kondwani Williams. It started with Earl Williams, and I think it's going to end with Kondwani Williams.
You want to make a point there.
Yes,
and be
and
very,
as
very,
you
very
said,
careful.
Earl
Yes.
Williams,
Uh-huh.
I think that if we can remember when Francine made that comment,
Right.
that
We're
statement,
coming for you.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
very soon after he resigned as leader of the opposition.
And he left.
Yes.
And he left.
Very soon after, like a week or so. So I guess he was very effective. But another issue with his situation, other people like myself and other people affected, is attorneys are held to a higher standard. We have to remember that in the work that they do. And what he has done and others have done is a massive breach of their fiduciary duty to their clients. That is very significant in legal terms.
Yeah, this is something that's being looked at around the world, Matt. Attorneys do not
fiduciary duty.
attorneys do not do this sort of behavior. This is nasty behavior. This is the lowest of the low.
That's why I keep asking the question. I asked to the lawyers last week if anybody has been banned.
Well, Matt,
from the legal
I had somebody from St. Lucia who has visited Dominica before call me up, and he said, Andy, the Bar Association and the attorneys in Dominica are the lowest rated in the Caribbean. Because the lowest rated in the Caribbean. Keep in mind, Dominica is one of the only two countries that does not have a bar, and I don't want to call it a bar anymore, a piece of wood association, because it doesn't deserve to be called a bar.
I'll have to ask the legal professionals about that statement. From
Lowest rated.
Hello, you believe that too?
Yes,
lowest rated in the Caribbean right now.
Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Oh my God. Yes, hello?
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon to you.
Dominica is a lawless country. What do you expect? The laws of Dominica is being broken by people in high office. The Prime Minister's son was involved in an accident. What happened the next day? He was in a plane out of Dominica. No investigation. Had it been one of my sons, they would have been stuck from right now. You are living in a lawless country. And that is what happens. We talk about the white man, the white man, the white man. When you give some black men too much of power, they treat you worse than the white man ever did. Thank you.
Thank you. Another telephone call. Are you there, caller? Yes?
Matt, good afternoon.
Hi, brother. How you doing?
I am good. Matt, last week when you had Joshua on the program, I sent you a link, Matt, on a case that was dealt with in Antigua, where a lawyer who had failed to represent the man fairly and led to the man losing almost half a million dollars, was taken to court using another lawyer for malpractice. And the court sided with the man and granted the man his $500,000 back, the lawyer to pay. So maybe you can share that case also with Jolie, so you can see that one.
Yeah, I'll share it with him. Yes?
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with those cases. These things happen everywhere else, but apparently, as I said, Matt, lowest rated bar association and the quality of the lawyers in Dominica are in question right now. So again, this is something that's being looked at. I mean, in Dominica,
So this bill is this law should be passed tomorrow or yesterday.
this bill needs to be passed now. And you know what, man? Our leaders are listening. They know what's going on. Why are our leaders not protecting us? Why are the people who we've elected as our government not protecting us from these leeches? The blood-sucking creatures.
You,
Why
ca-
are
you call them leeches?
well, Matt, I told you, it is my firm belief that 50% of the lawyers and attorneys in Dominica are bad. And I've told you that. And I've told you that over and over again. And it proves it because we have callers calling. They're using clients' funds as their personal funds. Just, Matt, there are so many lawyers that have people's money tied up. And where do they have it tied up? In Dubai. Well, guess what? We know what kind of people do business in Dubai. Okay? Our prime minister is always in Dubai. Lawyers have accounts in Dubai. Matt, you should see the information that Kondwani sends to us. He sends us stuff from a banker that he has in Dubai that's supposed to have his funds. What's your money? What's Jolly's Pharmacy money that was given to you to close a property deal? What is that money doing in Dubai? So many attorneys are evading taxes in Dominica. So many of these attorneys are using people's private funds to enrich themselves in Dominica. So many of these attorneys are using money from people like you and me to do pyramid schemes around the world to try to enrich themselves. Why are we allowing this in Dominica to continue? What are we setting for our children in the future, Matt? We need to discipline these people and teach them exactly what needs to be done correctly. And if it's going to take me to do it, I'm happy. I accept the job.
And you know, as I've said before, there are a lot of lawyers that are looking for you to sleep, huh?
Matt, I am here. Come to me, baby. I'm ready for the challenge. I'm ready for the fight, Matt. I never back down. And anybody who comes to me with garbage, it will be dealt with accordingly. These lawyers need to strap up their belt and start treating people like human beings and stop treating us like dogs.
Hello, on the telephone. Are you there?
Yes, me again.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Jolly. Kudos to you and the lady. She made 2 points there concerning the how you call it, the law for public information and the opposition leader. I myself had a case that they bombed me in my vehicle and the judge going to go in favor. Even I don't in Dominica, but I'm a man of God. I pray not that the wickedness will end one day. Mr. Jolly, go for it. 100% for you. 2,000% for you, lady. Good call, that's the best one, Matt. For you.
This is the talk on the block. If it's on the block, we'll talk about it. You can have some coffee now, huh? I'll come back. You drink some water. It's hot. Them lawyers have to pull up them socks, boy. Pressure. See, pressure does burst pipe. Huh? Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Are you there?
Yes, Matt.
Good afternoon to you, sir. How are you doing?
Matt, I can remember listening to Mr. Jolly this afternoon. They're saying we go through all the Kuwait and where we stop on Roosevelt's carrot, not true?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then, if we can recall, in 2010, Mr. Ron Emanuel was firebombed because of 42 counts he was looking about. Have we ever found a solution to that?
No, not that I know, no.
Okay, well, the box stops where?
Amen. Amen. All right, Dominica. Caller, are you there? I suspect you missed that call. On Facebook, somebody says, don't joke with these bastards, Matt. Don't be fearful. The government is lawless, followed by these rogues. Jolly's right. That's true. Lawless, one set. Lawless is for one set. On the telephone, hello, talk to me. Yes, it's 256. Are you there, caller? Yeah.
No law in the lawless country.
Dominica has no laws. Okay. And I think I think we spoke about it last week though. A lot of people seem to have some concerns about this disparity between legal fees.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern, Matt. It looks like the court system is for the rich in Dominica, because if you are poor, there's very little assistance that you can get. And not only that, Matt, the attorneys preying on people who do not have sufficient funds to defend themselves.
And then they give them a piece of land.
And well, I don't know if you have land to give. I think you can do that. But there's a big disparity within the attorney fees. And it's shocking that we have not had anybody standardize these things or to put some
But based on what I've heard though, their fees depend on their experience.
and which is fine, Matt. But they the problem I have with I'm not here questioning the attorney's fees. I'm questioning the fact that they need to disclose them to you and they need to give you a proper statement saying, here's the deal, I work for X amount and here's how much it's cost. Attorneys are not invoicing people correctly in Dominica. What's happening is that a number is being pulled out of a bag based on who you are in Dominica. So basically, if you're Matt, there's one fee for you, but if there's Andy Jolly, it's a different fee. And apparently, it has nothing to do with the type of case. It has nothing to do with the caseload or how much work is involved. It has to do with primarily how much that attorney feels that they can extort from you.
You think we need standards?
Matt, any country without standards cannot exist. And it just shows that in Dominica, we have a failing system. We have a failing court system. We have a failing justice system. And everybody can go back and say, why is this system failing? It's because we have not put the right rules, regulations, standards in place for people to operate. So attorneys feel like, hey, guess what? That's what I need from you is $10,000. I mean, how does one determine how much should be pulled out of a person? This person is in a vulnerable position. Maybe they've been accused of something, or maybe there's a crime. So you have to understand, our attorneys are preying on people at a time when they're most vulnerable, whether they're old, sick, and dying, or whether they're young, or whether they're in a position where they're not able to defend themselves. So these people are preying on our people in Dominica, our vulnerable people. Attorneys are taking advantage of their wallets. Attorneys are taking advantage of their knowledge. Attorneys are taking advantage of their property and then going ahead and enriching themselves. There is literally in Dominica Ponzi schemes, which are supposed to be legal in Dominica by law, by anyway. But here we have attorneys moving money out of state to use to profit themselves.
For investment.
For investment, so-called investment purposes. But who are these investments helping?
But to bring it down is a problem. So they can't get the money from where it is to bring it down?
Well, apparently, I can't tell you about all the attorneys having problems, but I can tell you there's a significant amount of attorneys that the banks are looking at now and saying, we don't want to do business with you because your money is not coming from a legitimate source. And when an attorney hears this, Matt, what comes next? What comes next? When our lawyers cannot be legitimate so people in society, then what kind of society are we supposed to have here?
Yes,
Yeah, I love the point of the fees being raised, because another way that some lawyers take advantage of some clients is that they do not have a written retainer agreement with them.
Fee structure.
Right. And I think anybody going to hire attorney or retain counsel should have that document available. It will come in very handy down the road if something happens. It will clearly state what they were hired to do, the instructions, the payment schedule, and so on. Because a lot of people I come across do not have that document.
Yeah. And Matt, you know what the other document is we don't have? If a lawyer does go bankrupt, for instance, I'm dealing with this case right now, right? Let's say my lawyer goes bankrupt. Matt, what repercussions do I have? I mean, do I just swallow my pride and my $1.5 million go? What if this lawyer has nothing? or he spent the money or did a bad investment and he lost all our money. Jolly's Pharmacy has no repercussion for Kondwani Williams.
What I've of course investigated and find out, a lot of lawyers use their money in the hope that some other client would come up with the money. So they pay you, they take a 1.5.
So a Ponzi scheme.
So they, yeah. So they hoping that Farah will come up with a 1.5, so they'll replace
They
it.
replace the job, and then maybe
the cycle
and-
will continue.
and they'll come up with the money so they can give to Matt.
Right, and this problem never happens in a functioning legal system because any money you're giving to a lawyer is escrowed.
And held in trust.
That's what an escrow account is, right?
It
It's
should
held-
should be.
That's
Should
what,
be.
That's what I'm saying.
But we have so
But
many
that would be
unethical
under-
lawyers.
Yes.
If I may, that would be under a fiduciary responsibility of a lawyer. In other words, all of these things are constraints that are defined by the ethics laws for lawyers. In other words,
But nobody wants those laws.
That's right. So I just want to reach one little question for y'all. Okay?
Yes.
We've talked about all of these really well-known problems. What is the remedy? Do you believe the remedy comes from the same lawyers who are doing this corruptively, or it comes from another source? And if so, what is that source?
You know,
Where's the
we
remedy?
don't know because most of the politicians are attorneys,
No,
right?
we do know.
Let's take a phone call. Are you there, caller? Yes.
Yeah, Matt, I'm there.
Yes, sir.
Andy is so right with regards to lawyers and billing. I had an experience for a lawyer, and on a matter where some bail arrangement had to be made. The lawyer was paid to do the bail. The lawyer know the matter. The lawyer didn't discuss with you. Okay, you have to retain me from it to do this work for it, going to cost X amount of money. Most of them wait until the day you have to show up to court, and it's telling you, it's going to cost you $5,000, and you have to the case is coming up on Monday. You have to bring them X by that time. You know, where a person is going to just fine a $5,000 or whatever on a matter. And I had that experience, I tell you, with a senior lawyer, you know, and some of them can be so unethical. After she did the bail matter, the morning that she had to do the bail matter, I sat in her office since before that. The boy gave her a statement, everything. You know, the morning of the matter, the lady's coming outside with a paper bag, you know, and want to write what the boy said on a brown paper bag outside of the court. People are there, you know. This is how some of them treat you, like as though, well, you know, you're nothing for them, you know. So he is very right, and she did not even discuss it. Okay, it's going to cost you X amount of money. She wait until the morning, you know, the day before the day when we go for it. The matter was supposed to come up on Monday because they postponed the matter. She said you have to come up with X amount of money by that time, but she did not discuss that with you before, so you can put things in order. You know, and that's the way some of them behave. Not all of them, but some of them. That's the way they behave.
Very interesting there. Andy, we're going to take a break. Yeah? I need some coffee at this time. I don't drink coffee, but I need some coffee at this time. We're going to come back, Dominique. We're going to come back.
Just be cool winning Roseau again. Same place outside Flossies. I tried to dock in, but you had time see me. Where? Story start again. Million, lot of my power with us, huh? Salka fella, I say the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossies, and you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I'm busy. It's to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket, boy. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Well, when you're still telling me, I know already. Tu paga respect him, why? But it can him pepper palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica to come to Floss's, right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Floss's can't do it to you.
It's Kaiso! Yes, the Calypso season is upon us. Saturday, December 13, 2025 at the Factory, Valley Road. Only $20. 8 o'clock, sitting only $30. Come here at the beginning of the season and make sure you're there till the end. Many Calypsonians will be competing. Only 12 gladiators will make it. The grand eliminations for the 2026 Calypso season. Saturday, 13 December 2025. Remember, 8 o'clock at the Factory. Come here, the funny songs, the serious songs, political songs, everything. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your dog and come. Kaiso!
Just received
Able Farm evaporated milk, delicious and nutritious, rich and creamy. Perfect for all uses. For drinking, for tea, coffee, cocoa, punches, juices, cooking, baking, ice pops, and ice cream, and everything else. Prices start as low as $1.55 per can. Able Farm evaporated milk. Available in 2 varieties, each in 2 sizes of cans. Able Farm evaporated milk. Available wholesale and retail at Esar Trading Limited. That meant nice, boy. Esar Trading Limited, making a difference for you.
Milky milk, milky milk, milky, milky milk. Milky milk.
They're smooth.
And then there's Guinness Smooth.
It's a brand new cool.
Incredibly smooth.
Perfectly balanced.
For a smooth and refreshing taste.
How smooth? Well smooth. Guinness smooth.
For a smooth and refreshing taste. New Guinness Smooth. Must be 18 years or older. Drink responsibly. Socialize responsibly.
Locally distributed by Belfast Estate Limited.
Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Health Vibes. Each and every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. with your hosts, Trudy Kristen, and co-hosts, pharmacists Jacinta Fagan and Leona Jeremiah. Education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together with Health Vibes. So be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
It's Kaiso. Yes, the Calypso season is upon us. Saturday, December 13, 2025 at the Factory, Valley Road. Only $20. 8 o'clock, sitting only $30. Come here, the beginning of the season. And make sure you're there till the end. Many Calypsonians will be competing. Only 12 gladiators will make it. The grand eliminations for the 2026 Calypso season. Saturday, 13 December 2025. Remember, 8 o'clock at the Factory. Come here, the funny songs, the serious songs, political songs, everything. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your dog, and come. Kaiso.
I wanna drink. Dominica, that's rum. With you, I wanna drink. Dominica, that's rum. With you, get the body. Drink it every day. Give me energy. Alright, rep away. Get the body. Drink it every day. Give me energy. Time today, we wake up. Okay. My body. My knee. Who's ready? Full energy. My body. My knee. Who's ready? Full energy. Okay, boom. Distributed by Belfast Estate Limited. Drink it, but don't abuse it. Okay, boom.
All right, Dominica, we're here. Still a very interesting program. A lot of comments are coming in here. I know of a person in Dominica who won a court case, paid his attorney every penny that was asked of for his representation. After winning the case, the very same attorney then turns around and borrowed over $10,000 from the client after the client received the settlement and never repaid the money borrowed from his client. That's one comment. Another comment, Matt, I paid a lawyer over $9,000 for a matter. It's over 13 years. I had to start all over again with a new lawyer. I cried and wrote walking up and down for my document. It was later sent to me by my new lawyer. Now, how do I get back my money?
Matt,
asking me.
Matt, we Matt, we had a very similar case like this. I gotta tell you, my brother called me up, and I said, "Orin, tell me about this. We had a trademark that we had to do for our manufacturing department at Jolly's. We went to obviously the trademark lawyer. There's
right.
one here in Dominica, trademark 1 or 2, I believe, here in Dominica, and we went ahead and submitted all the information. This is the trademark that we want, because here it is that we have a product and we want to make sure it's registered properly in Dominica. We want to make sure that we have the adequate protection against people making our product. And Matt, you know what actually happened to us once? We actually had somebody, and this is still going on, this is still an active case. We had somebody in Martinique actually come to Dominica and steal our formulation and is actively making the exact same product that we used to ship to Martinique in Martinique and selling to people in Martinique and Guadeloupe as their own product. So here it is that we're trying to copyright the stuff and get it done right. We actually paid this lawyer several thousands of dollars, Matt. And guess what? Nothing was done for so long. We actively took the paperwork and transferred it to a different lawyer who was supposedly not as good, but was more efficient at getting it done. And we have now since had the trademark done in record time. And a lot of people don't understand that we say our court system, Matt, is slow in Dominica, or our court system is non-functional, or my land is taking a long time to transfer, or my property is not being transferred quick enough. But we don't understand what's going on. The lawyers are actively keeping back these transactions. The lawyers are actually plaguing the system and slowing Dominica down on purpose. So when you think it's the court system to actually blame, it's the legal people who work in it. The attorneys are the one who are literally, and I'm going to use a patois, kiboshing the system for everybody in Dominica. And this is why the real estate people who sell real estate came up to me and say, Andy, we support you. Because if their deals could go quicker, Matt, these people could make more money. People could get into their houses faster. And Matt, this is one of the reasons that we raised on the show the other day, that banks actually want to give you an attorney when they're closing their paper, because banks have certain attorneys that they have contracts with to say you will abide by the rules and you will abide by the law and we will send you business and here's what you will do. So the banks have actually come up with their own system because the legal system in Dominica is so bad, the banks had to take it into their own hands to get their own people. So any trustworthy lawyers that work for the bank are benefiting, but any of them that are not trustworthy are not sanctioned by any bank in Dominica. And we know we have 2 banks in Dominica.
No, I just want to have an injection here. Because one of the Williams, you mentioned his name, I think he's the owner, is the manager of the banks. He said, Matt, Mr. Peltier, tell Andy to not call my name on public radio because I will come in the studio and embarrass him for speaking things about he knows nothing about. Tell him
please come.
Do not take me on.
Please come.
Okay. So I
he's
said,
welcome to come.
he's welcome.
I welcome anybody who wants to come on the show. I have, you know what? I have dirty laundry. I have people. I know things, and they have to remember that I have evidence of things that have been done in the past.
Let's take a voice now. Hello, yes?
Something that it really makes me sad. Man. What's happening is that
something is going on. Something's going on with the voice because I don't know what's going on. Sorry, sir. Sorry. I know you tried. Huh? Say if somebody says it has one thing that taking the old people money and land house, give them to old people for food. That's what somebody said. I don't know. A lot of accusations there.
Matt, there's just discussions that are being had here. And a lot of people are afraid of these discussions. Don't worry about your name being called. If your name's being called, what you do is step to the stage and answer the questions and make sure that the people asking the questions can get fair answers from you.
Somebody else is saying, Matt, yes, you do business with lawyers now. You try to call them and they're not answering your calls.
Well, why is that, Matt? Not only that, not you calling them, but you cannot get a statement from them of your funds. You cannot get an update on your case. You cannot see where your case has been filed or not filed. Matt, why is it we have a system in Dominica when you hand an attorney a case, there's nowhere to follow up on that case? Can any attorney call in and please tell me, how does someone follow up to make sure that their case was filed and their documents were filed? How can we do that in Dominica? We do not have a system for that.
All right, somebody else says, hold that thought there. Matt, it's very interesting that certain laws are sitting in the books for years and can be passed. On the contrary, look at how quickly them could pass the SRNO and certain laws to their convenience. It's high time the people get organized and demand these laws are passed. Also, Levi Peters is a waste of time. He's supposed to be a public servant looking out for the interest of the public, but it appears he's more he's more a politician. The people need to demand more accountability. That's another statement from a police officer.
Yeah, well, look who's chiming in. I just want to show all the people out there who's chiming in. These are people who do not have an interest in what we're doing here, but they are here seeing this happening in front of their eyes. They're seeing the exact truth that we're talking about here. So I understand if there's people who disagree with us. And I understand who are people who think that we are probably airing things in dirty laundry, putting it on the radio. But you have to understand, Matt, people are being taken advantage of daily in Dominica. And we have to raise the awareness of this for our society. We have to understand that we need to do better. We need this legal professional bill passed, and we do not need any more edits from Miss Nweliza Knight Didier. No more edits should be done. It should be passed like in Jamaica and in several of the other Caribbean islands. Dominica is lagging behind in our legal situation, and we've brought it to your attention.
Hello, the telephone. Are you there, caller? Yes?
Hi, Matt Pelter. I just wanted to let you know that this morning I dropped off all the information needed to confirm the information that I gave you last week about David Bruni and bank manager Stephen Lander. Yeah, so anytime you've got, please disseminate the information. Let the public know that everything I told you last week regarding David Bruni and bank manager Stephen Lander is true. Thank you.
All right, yes. I'll sift through the information and we'll try to discuss it sometime. 3:18 is the afternoon time, and we have to wrap up because of course time.
I know. Time is of the essence. You know, Matt, time flies when you're having a good time, doesn't it? You know, I really enjoy coming on here. Matt, this is a very serious
But
issue.
there's a lot more issues we need to talk about. Huh?
Matt, I'm not a complainer, Matt. Here's what I would like. I'd like everybody to do their job. There's so many public servants that the Dominican people are paying for. They're paying for services that are not being rendered to the Dominican people. And we need to really put an eye on these bad actors and bring them to light. We need to make sure that the politicians are doing their work. We need to make sure that the responsible party are doing their work. Matt, and there's no way you can tell me that there was something from 2010 on the shelf, and in 2025, it has not been put to the forefront. What is causing a delay like that? This is malicious to the Dominican people. Our people are being hurt and affected, and the poor people cannot speak out for themselves. We need some action. We need the police to take action. We need the FSU to take action. We need the IRS or the Inland Revenue to take action. We need the legal bar or piece of wood, whatever they call themselves, to take action. We need people to step up to the plate and do their job, not just sit in the office and collect a check on a daily basis.
All right, Dominica, let's take a piece of it, and we'll conclude after that, okay? This one. Talking to the very problem we have. We come back. Who's telling the victim story?
I have been lying in restless slumber after dying a dreadful death. I was a victim, you might remember. A murderous cutlass took away my breath. The trial found him guilty, but he's not been sent to join me. And now they say his life might be saved. Something about pride and more but behind man cannot function. That's why I'm crying out from my grave. Make them beg, say, please kill me. I hear them begging for mercy. I hear them pleading for sympathy. The same sympathy that murderer didn't show me. So now I'm begging to strike, execute the capital penalty. In memory of me and this oldest victim story. Remember me, the murdered one, me, buried dead and gone, me, cut down in my friend, me, and his wicked crime. So when the killers cry for mercy, before you go out, some with pity. remember this victim story. I am the little girl named Trisha. I am the watchman on Chosen Road. Or maybe you all may know me better. I'm the body of Valerie Lord. I screamed and I cried and they chopped me like a swordfish. And in my very own blood I choked. Now this vicious, heartless killer wants to write sympathy letter to save himself from the human road.
Or the lawyers under the microscope.
Please save me. I am the begging for mercy. I am pleading for sympathy. The same sympathy the murderer didn't show me. So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty in memory of me and the souls in this victim story. Remember me, the murdered one, me, buried dead and gone, me, cut off in my crime, me, and his wicked crime. So when you kill a crime for mercy, before you go for pity, just remember this victim story.
Always remember the victim story. We're going to bring a wrap here to this afternoon's program. Very, very telling now. I'm sure the lawyers will be back sometime. I'm trying to get the age here.
Society cook up a mercy council and Amnesty International is so concerned about the rights and freedom of this murderous criminal.
I think there's court next week or there's parliament next week. I'm going to try to get the AG before that time. Let's see. I'll try. Yes.
1994 was a good one because I killed Solomon. They set him free and he killed.
I'll make sure my technician is in place. Everything is in place for that one. All right, folks, this is how we come to the end of another Talk on the Block. Let me ask the lady to get her a piece, and then we will go around the table. Yes, young lady, Farah?
Yeah.
Farah.
Once again, thank you so much for inviting me here today. I enjoyed the discussion. I want to thank Mr. Jolly as well for the lovely bits of information he gave us. And if nothing else, I'd like our listeners to remember that the law does not belong to lawyers. It belongs to the people and it must work for them.
Mm-hmm.
So a justice system that is not transparent cannot be trusted. And a system that is not accountable cannot be respected. So I hope Mr. Peters take up your offer and, come to some sound, reasoned discussion for us. And once again, the Bar Association, we are serious bones to pick with them because they're supposed to be almost like a journalistic role, the eyes and the ears of the people where law is. And it's so sad that they are so incompetent. And in terms of competence and corruption on that wavelength, then I like to take on a limb and say almost 99% of lawyers are terrible.
99%?
They're either corrupt or incompetent.
That's a big number.
You said 99%?
Yeah, either they on degree of between corrupt and incompetent. A lot of them are not competent. I'm not impressed at all.
You remember you might become a lawyer one day soon.
Yes. So
So you might be in that bracket too,
No,
That's the 1%.
Yes, I think 1%.
Let's my friend to have your final comments there.
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Joe.
Oh, thank you.
You, Matt, and Farah for all of your wisdom and think. One just legal suggestion. Like in other countries, when they have concerns about having a legitimate election, you have international observers who are then by other countries come and observe the election to make sure it's legitimate. I think it'd be a great idea if places that do have functioning ethics laws
send their lawyers,
send their observing lawyers, send lawyers to observe and review cases in general and report back to whether it is CCJ or Privy Council, whoever would be the proper body, a proper review of actual behavior by our lawyers.
You think our lawyers have to be under a microscope now?
Supervision.
I would say that every bacteria should be examined under a microscope.
Oh my God.
How do you treat a disease without examining it?
Andy, your final comments.
You know, man, I'm going to tell you, I think anybody who has an attorney out there that you have some degree of funds with, you should go out there and get a statement from the attorney, making sure that your funds are safe. Any lawyer that is in questionable practice, now is the time to stop, because every piece of laundry will be examined. As I say, every bacteria should be examined under a microscope. And I want to tell everybody out there, you have to keep up on your attorneys. You got to say what's going on. There's too much hiding and too much secrecy in Dominica. We need to bring matters like this to light. And Matt, I'm willing to put a bet down on the AG showing up on your show. I do not believe the AG will come on your show, because there's no explanation for this poor efficiency we have in Dominica, that a bill that has been written into law in 2010 does not make it on the roster in 2025. There's no, and if the AG even pretends to give us an explanation to that, there is no excuse, Matt. So I'm going to bet against you. I don't know how much you want to take the bet for. I'm going to leave you to put the figure down on the table.
Leave an open
I'm
check.
going to leave a blank check on your table. Put the number down. The AG will not show up on this show to explain the incompetence of all the bills that we talked about today. It's a blank check, Matt. Write the figure in. That is from Andy Jolly on today's date.
All right, Dominica, you heard I've been challenged, huh? The pleasure was mine. We'll see what happens. I'll have to take the AG to lunch after my bet. I suspect that they'll eat some steak. All right, Dominic, over here. Until next time tomorrow. If God is willing, I'll be back on the radio.
I am the little super named Trisha. I am the watchman on Chosen Road. Or maybe you all may know me better as the body of Valerie Lord. I screamed and I cried in anguish as they chopped me like a swordfish, and in my very own blood I choked. Now this vicious, heartless killer wants to write empathy letter to save himself from the unmarked road. Making parents say, please slay me. I get the begging for mercy. I get the pleading for sympathy. The same sympathy some murders that didn't show me. So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty in memory of me and the souls in this victim story. The murdered one, me, buried dead and gone, me, cut down in my crime, me, and his wicked crime. So when you kill a crime for mercy, before you go and for pity, let's remember this victim story. Society cook up a mercy council and Amnesty International is so concerned about the right and freedom of these murderous criminals. After 5 years in prison, everyone forgets the victim. The prisoner's rights is what make him pay. 1994 was a good one because I killed Solomon. They set him free and he killed again. Make him pay the way he lived. I hear the begging for mercy. I hear the pleading for sympathy. The same sympathy the murderer didn't show me. So now I'm begging society, execute the capital penalty in memory of me and the souls in this victim story. The murdered one, buried dead and gone, but down in my spine, and his wicked crime. So when the killer cries for mercy, before you go out